And I welcome the chair 50th anniversary of our university, Professor Lugbenga Ayodeji Mokulu. You're welcome, sir. Of course, you are seeing that already. Yes, we are 50, and we thank God for the journey so far. Professor Adekola, you're also very much welcome from Chemistry. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, 50 years ago, this university was established. And ever since that time, we are not resting on our laurels to ensure that from time to time, we have our professors, young and old, to man the lectern to deliver their lectures. It is one of the mantras upon which every university across the globe is established. And ladies and gentlemen, please let's rise to welcome the procession of our university scholars. The procession is led by staff and the Student Affairs Unit of the University, Mr. Adebayo. And in the procession, ladies and gentlemen, we're having our very best students in their various departments. By the scholars, we mean our very best students in their various departments. And these are students with CGPA of nothing less than 4.5. And at every university event like this, we normally have them showcased, honored, and appreciated. And this is what we have just done to them. Thank you very much for doing this with us. Please be seated. I welcome the Chief Imam of our university, a distinguished chemist, Professor Nasir Abdulsalam. Sir, you are welcome. Professor Montoyose Amonloye Adebayo, you are welcome. And to the Amonloye family in the house, you are welcome. We welcome Mama Amonloye. You are welcome, ma'am. Professor Adediran of Chemical Engineering, you are also very much welcome. We appreciate your coming. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like you to join me to welcome here the woman who has always been there, ensuring that nothing goes wrong in the home when Prof must have gone his way, doing his researches, going here and there. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for Mrs. Tawakalitu Aderonke Okoro. They want to see your face, madam. So you turn, let them see you. That's how very much an industrial chemist can take care of their women. Isn't it? Thank you. And we want to welcome also the children of the inaugural lecturer. You're all very much welcome. Latifa Ayodeji Okoro, you're welcome. Abdulatif Abidemi Okoro, you're welcome. right, thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Kabiesi, the Olowo of Owo. This is from the home front for the inaugural lecture. We'll say Kabiesi. Thank you very much. His Royal Majesty Oba Agbade Geshin Ogunoye. You're welcome, sir. And to the chiefs who are here, thank you very much. You're welcome. Ushers, please, let's ensure that our guests are appropriately taken care of. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in 1975 we were established. By the year 1979 we had the first lecture, inaugural lecture of this university. As at that time it was called the Loring Lecture, later to the University Lecture, and today, as it is known, Inaugural Lecture. And we want to thank and appreciate Professor Oladele Awobuluyi, who delivered the very first lecture for this university on the 15th of February of the year 1979. And from the faculty where we have the inaugural lecture of today, formerly the Faculty of Science, to what we have today as the Faculty of Physical Sciences, after the split in 2013. The Faculty of Science, from the Faculty of Science, we had the first inaugural lecture from the old Faculty of Science, also in the year 1979. And it was on the 17th of May of the year. And this lecture was by Professor Emo Olofinboba of the Department of Biological Science. He was the very first scientist to deliver an inaugural lecture in this university. And he titled the lecture that year, Forest, the Need for Improved Management. And ever since we had all of these people, from time to time we've been having our professors manning the lectern to deliver their lectures. And as I told you earlier on, today's lecture is the 292nd. An indication that 291 professors have been here before now. And we are thankful to all of them. I'd like to welcome the Vice Chancellor at Hikma University, Professor Lateef Folarunsho Oladimeji. Sir, you're welcome. Welcoming also the Registrar, Federal University of Health Sciences, Ilarogun, Mr. Kazim Kayode Babamale. Sir, you're welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, I welcomed you earlier on behalf of our Vice Chancellor. And I'm glad to let you know that we have his other half in the house with us. The First Lady of this university, and in our own right, a Deputy Registrar of this university, Hajia Adeola Egbewole. You're welcome, ma'am. To all our professors in the house, retired and not retired, still actively in service who are here, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. I would like to also introduce to us and welcome our former university librarian and the chairman, Library and Publications, Professor Abdul Wahab Olariwaju Isa. You're welcome, sir. And sitting next to him, you are not clapping. Should we just end it? Ladies and gentlemen, in this auditorium, when anyone is introduced to us, we are to appreciate them. And you appreciate them by clapping loud for them. You are to appreciate them by appreciating us, joining us in appreciating them. Please let us always do this very well, the way it should be done. Introducing to us next, immediate past Deputy Vice Chancellor Management Services, Professor Sulaiman Folorunsho Ambali. Also welcoming another distinguished professor from the Faculty of Social Sciences and the Department of Sociology, to be precise, Professor Deborah Shade Adeke. Ma, you're welcome. Welcome also Dr. Yusuf from Social Sciences. Thank you for being here. All right, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Faculty of Physical Sciences, that as it is known today, used to be the old Faculty of Science. The old Faculty of Science, we had a split of that faculty in the year 2013. And when we had that split, that's when we started having Faculty of Life Sciences and also Physical Sciences. And for the Faculty of Physical Sciences, even when after the split, it remains the largest, faculty in the science wing of the university. The faculty houses 7 different departments of chemistry, of geology and mineral sciences, of geophysics, industrial chemistry, from where we have the inaugural lecture of today, of mathematics, of physics, and also of statistics. And for the faculty, so far we've had 8 deans from the faculty. I mean, ever since we had a split in 2013, we've had 8 deans so far for the faculty. The first being Professor Babatunde Lateef Adeleke from the Department of Statistics. We had the second from the Department of Physics, Professor Isaac Abiodun Adimola. Then Professor Uche Basil Eke from Chemistry. Professor Basi is here. Then after him, we have Professor Folahan Amao Adekola, also from Chemistry. He's also here. Professor Adekola, you're welcome. And we had also Professor Jacob Abiodun Gbadeyan from Mathematics, and Professor Kayode John Oyewumi from Physics, and Professor Baba Abdullahi Alafara from Industrial Chemistry. He's also here with us. And today we are having a geologist as the Dean of the faculty, Professor Labisi Adeleye Adeke. It will interest you that from the faculty, today's lecture will be the second time we are having an inaugural lecture from the Department of Industrial Chemistry under the Faculty of Physical Sciences. But it's going to be the third time actually from the department. I just told you why. It used to be Faculty of Sciences earlier, and the very first man to deliver his inaugural lecture from the department under the old Faculty of Science was Professor D.H. Oguniyi, David Sunday Oguniyi. He delivered this lecture in the year 2013. It was after his lecture, the old Faculty of Science had a split, and so every other lecture coming under it, we have them physical science, either physical sciences or life sciences. And for this Department of Industrial Chemistry that brought all of us together, this is the second time under that faculty the department is bringing us together. The first time was in the year 2021, and it was by the immediate past dean of the faculty, Professor Abdullahi Baba Alafara. He delivered his lecture, the 198th in the series, and he titled it Sustainable National Development, Mineral and Material Resources to the Rescue. And this was on the 28th of May of the year 2021. So thank you very much, sir. He handed the baton of inaugural lecture from that department to our lecturer of today, Professor Hussein Kehinde Okoro. At the mention of Hussein, I'd like to recognize the presence here of our former dean of the old Faculty of Science. In fact, we have them there. It's looking more like the sitting of former deans of the old Faculty of Science. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Professor H.O.B. Oloyede. Professor H.O.B. Oloyede, former dean of the old science. Those of you in white there, you were not here at that time. Boldly I can say that. But then he was here, he headed our faculty for us, and he served us meritoriously. Thank you very much, sir. So later he became the Vice Chancellor of Fountain University, and later the Vice Chancellor of Summit University, Offa. So thank you, Professor H.O.B. Oloyede. And that man you are sitting next to him, I introduced him earlier, and I think I should also add, he was also a former dean of the old Faculty of Science. And he served also as the Vice Chancellor at Hikma University, and also Federal University of Technology, Futmina. Thank you very much, Professor Musba Adewumi Akonji. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's put our hands together for our former Vice Chancellor and the Registrar and CEO, JAM, many of you students of this university were not here when he was the Vice Chancellor, but he had a hand in your admission into this school as the Registrar and Chief Executive Officer, JAM. Not just the professor, Emeritus Professor Ishaq Olarewaju Oloyede, CON. That's why it's always good to attend university events. When you come for events like this, you meet all these dignitaries that you've been hearing their names, reading about them. They've been telling you about them or probably just watching them on television. So live and direct, we have Professor Ishaq, Emeritus Professor Ishaq Olanrewaju Oloyede. You're welcome, sir. And yes, as I told you, ladies and gentlemen, we've had 8 deans from that faculty of physical science after the split so far. And from the faculty, we've had very many of our distinguished professors delivering their lectures ever since after the split. They are not resting on their laurels. Even before the split, as I told you, the likes of Professor David Sunday Oguni delivered it in the old Faculty of Science. And now in the Faculty of Physical Science, which is our focus today, the very first inaugural lecturer we had from that faculty delivered the 138 in the series. Don't forget we are here for 292nd. He delivered the 198th in the series, and he titled the lecture Catalysis and Chemical Industry Development, a Fruitful Wedlock. This lecture was delivered on the 21st of November 2013 after the split, and it was from the Department of Chemistry. I'm talking Professor E.O. or Debumi, retired. After him, we had another distinguished professor who delivered the 162nd, making it the second from the faculty, this time from the Department of Mathematics. And I'm talking Professor Raphael Babatunde Adeniyi. The third lecture from the faculty was by our former dean of the faculty, who is here also with us today. He delivered it in the year 2016. Also from the Department of Chemistry, the 165th in the series. And this is talking Professor Uche Basi, okay. And he titled his lecture In Search of the Answer to Questions Unknown. And we had the fourth from the faculty, the 198 in the series, from Industrial Chemistry, by Professor Baba Abdullahi Alafara, dated to the 28th of May 2021. Thank you, Professor Alafara, for the lecture. The 199th, the fifth from the faculty, was also from the Department of Mathematics. And this time, July 2021, 15th of July, by Professor Jacob Abiodun Gbadeyan, the 199th. The sixth lecture from the Faculty of Physical Sciences was the 202nd in the series, and it's also from the Department of Mathematics. And it was delivered by Professor Kamilu Rauf, who is in the house with us today. Professor Rauf, you are welcome, sir. We had the sixth from the faculty from the Department of Statistics, the 205th in the series, and it was by Professor P.A. Osanae, also in September 2021. The seventh was from Mathematics by Professor O.M. Bamigbola, the 207th in the series. Professor Bamigbola is in the house. Professor Bamigbola, sir, you're welcome. It seems people have seen you earlier, so you're welcome, sir. Then the 226th from Chemistry on the 2nd of February 2023 was by Professor Nasir Abdusalam. Time will not permit me again, ladies and gentlemen. Shall we all rise to welcome the procession of the Vice Chancellor? Please do not stand in the way of the procession and do not cross the procession. We remain standing, ladies and gentlemen, as we observe the university anthem. Thank you very much. Please be seated.
On behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the Better by Far University, I welcome everyone to the 292 Inaugural Lecture of University of Ilorin. The title is the role of analytical, environmental, and material chemistry in environmental management, to be presented by Professor Okoro Hussein. Kehinde, do I invite you to stand up while I read your citation, please. Professor Okoro Hussein Kehinde was born on the 6th November 1979 to the family of late Imam Zakaria Adiola Makunokoro. Professor Okoro had his primary education at government primary school between 1981 and 1987. He proceeded to our high school in 1988 and obtained his West African School Certificate in 1993. He obtained his bachelor's degree in analytical chemistry from the University of Ilorin in 2002. He had his master's in industrial chemistry in 2006 and bagged his PhD in chemistry from Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Cape Town, South Africa in 2013. Professor Okoro's PhD thesis was ranked distinction by the external examiners. He obtained his postgraduate diploma in education in 2025 and also a diploma in human resources management from University of Ilorin in 2025. Professor Okoro joined the services of the University of Ilorin as an assistant lecturer in the Department of Chemistry in 2008. He later moved to the Department of Industrial Chemistry in 2013 when he rose through the ranks to become a professor of analytical and environmental chemistry in 2023. Professor Okoro is a member of many learned professional bodies such as Institute of Chartered Chemistry of Nigeria, Chemical Society of Nigeria, Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, American Chemical Society, South African Chemical Institute, South Africa, Fellow Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria, African Network for Economics of Learning, Innovation, and Competence Building System, and Fellow Chemical Society of Nigeria. Professor Okoro has served in various capacities within and outside the University of Ilorin, and these include Secretary, UC's Conference Planning Social Subcommittee, University of Ilorin, Secretary, University of Ilorin Water Quality Monitoring Committee, Deputy Director, Center for Research Development and In-House Training, University of Ilorin, 2020 to 2023. Member Subcommittee on University of Ilorin Ranking by Times Higher Education Ranking, 2021 to 2023. He was an acting head of the Department Industrial Chemistry, 2021 to 2023. Desk Officer, Coordination of MOU between Unilorin and CPUT South Africa, 2024 to date. Editor-in-Chief for the Editorial Board of 2024 UC's Conference in Cape Town, South Africa, 2024 till date. And member Ferry Management Board, University of Ilorin, 2023 to 2024. Secretary General, Chemical Society of Nigeria, Kwara State Chapter, 2022-2023. Member, Committee Editorial Board, 2020 till date. Secretary General, LOC, National Conference Committee, the Companion Muslim Society 2019, Member, ASU Committee on Preparation of position paper for the visitation panel 2021. Professor Okoro won an award to enjoy a one-year postdoctoral fellowship in the Applied Chemistry Department, now Department of Chemical Sciences, Faculty of Sciences, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. This was sponsored by Global Excellence and Strategy ES and the University of Johannesburg. Professor Okoro has over 90 publications in reputable home-based, national, and international journals, and 11 edited conference proceedings and chapters in books. He has served as external examiner to many universities across Nigeria. He has also attended many conferences, workshops, and seminars within the country and overseas. Professor Okoro is happily married to Mrs. Tawakal Aderonke Okoro, and the union is blessed with children. I present Professor Okoro to present his inaugural lecture. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري وأحلل عقدة لساني يفقهوا قولي. The Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Management Services, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Technology and Innovation, the Registrar, the Bursar, the University Librarian, Provost College of Earth Sciences, Dean Faculty of Physical Sciences, Dean of other faculties, postgraduate school and student affairs, professors and other members of Senate, chairman and members of the governing councils, directors of various centers and units, head Department of Industrial Chemistry, head of other departments and units, academic and non-teaching staff of the university, my Lord spiritual and temporal, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, students of industrial chemistry and other students here present, greatest students of the University of Ilorin, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Praise be to Allah who created all things and beautified them with some of what he has created. He created the heavens and adorned them with the throne. He created mankind and beautified them with our beloved, our master, the master of mankind. So all praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. It is with immense gratitude to the Almighty Allah that I stand before this distinguished audience to fulfill my dream. Today's lecture is 292nd in the series of inaugural lecture in the University of Ilorin, the 12th in the Faculty of Physical Sciences, and the second from the Department of Industrial Chemistry. It is the second from Analytical Environmental Chemistry Unit, first from Nanotechnology Research Area, the first professor from Makun Adeola Okoro clan of Owo, the first professor of Analytical and Environmental Chemistry from Roundtable of Academic Mentors, University of Ilorin. Mr. Vice Chancellor, permit me to inform this audience that today marks my birthday anniversary. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen for sparing my life to today. Before I delve into the focus of this lecture, let me say I was born to the family of Makun Adeola Okoro dynasty in our Ondo State, Nigeria. I finished my elementary education at Government Primary School in 1987 after completing my basic Quranic school in 1985 under the mentorship of Sheikh Imam Jamiu Absalam Okoro. After my secondary school, I obtained UME form in 1994, and I chose University of Ilorin to study medicine as usual. Science students usually used to want to study medicine. I eventually got an offer for admission to study industrial chemistry at the University of Ilorin, where I graduated in 2002. After the one-year compulsory National Youth Service Corps program, my school principal then, Mr. Ben Isike, advised us to go for master's degree while we were searching for a job to keep us busy in the meantime. I went to FUTA to obtain an MTech form, but was advised by Professor Mrs. Eleta to continue my educational pursuit with the University of Ilorin. She said, "Do you want to go and become a local champion?" After finishing, I started my doctorate right away under our erudite scholar and mentor, Professor F.E. Adekola, who is the chair of Analytical Environmental Chemistry. My PhD was first centered on the environmental monitoring of Oyon River. However, an erudite professor of analytical and environmental chemistry, Professor O.S. Fatuki, on the advice of Professor Adekola, facilitated the changing of my program from University of Ilorin to CPUT, South Africa. The University of Ilorin and CPUT subsequently used the opportunity to draw up an MOU between the two institutions. This MOU has given birth to the UC Plus Consortium of African University, with me appointed as the desk officer last year, and also nominated by the Vice Chancellor to serve as the editor-in-chief for UC Plus Conference proceeding in 2024 in Cape Town. In addition, I was appointed by the Vice Chancellor of the UC Plus Consortium of African Universities as the pioneer editor-in-chief for the UC Plus Multidisciplinary Journal for African Development. Upon the commencement of my doctoral study at the proposal writing stage, I was able to come out with 3 review articles in relation to my research work. One article was published in Review of Environmental Contamination and Toxicology, RECT Springer, with a total citation of 113 as at October 2025. Okoro et al., 2012. While the second was published in Nature Journal of Chemistry, Okoro et al., 2011, with a total citation of 80, according to Google Scholar. I went ahead to write the third one on a review of sequential extraction of heavy metals, and that has a total of 200 citations, according to Google Scholar, on October 2nd, 2025. Again, at the tail end of my doctoral program, I was invited to contribute a chapter on organotin compounds in the Encyclopedia of Toxicology, published by SCV as Science Direct, with a total citation of 15. Vice Chancellor, sir, I'm glad to inform you that 15 research publications published in high-impact international Scopus journal outlets emanated from my PhD thesis alone. I was able to present my PhD work in 5 different international conferences held in South Africa, Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, Boston, Long Beach, California, USA. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I faced a challenge with the sampling I obtained from Cape Town Harbour with a boat equipped with CSRQ. Each time I was going to take sample, I used to pray and fast because I have phobia for water. And so seeing different wild animals like sea lion, sharks, crocodile, etc. was so scary to me. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin for my safety throughout my sampling period. Second challenge overcome. I won the Global Excellence and Stature Scholarship, which provided me the opportunity to do my postdoctoral research at the Department of Applied Chemistry, now Chemical Science Department, University of Johannesburg. I can recall that I used to write Professor HKO at the back of my school note while I was in secondary school. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, the dream has come true today. A professor of analytical environmental chemistry is standing before you to present an inaugural lecture. Vice Chancellor, sir, chemistry is the study of composition, structure, and properties of matter. It is often called social science because it combines physics, mathematics, biology, and even environmental science. As a social science, owing to its relevance to all fields of human endeavor, draw up an idea and techniques of techniques of analytical chemistry. Hence, analytical chemistry occupies the central position. Thus, this inaugural lecture hereby aimed at leveraging the expertise of chemists in environmental management, a focus on analytical, environmental, and material fields. Its main objective focuses on providing different methods in understanding and addressing environmental problems, contributing to the protection of both ecosystem and human health. A brief history of chemistry. As a field of study, chemistry is very fundamental to our world. This is because chemistry not only plays a role in everyone's life, but also touches almost every aspect of our existence in some way. Chemistry is essential for meeting our basic needs of food, clothing, shelter, earth, energy, and clean air, water, and soil. Analytical chemistry is an area in chemistry that focuses on identifying compounds and determining the amount of compound in a solution or substance. Analytical chemistry is used in many different fields. In forensic science, an analytical chemist can identify, quantify presence of substance in a sample. In environmental science, analytical chemistry can be used to detect the presence of dangerous heavy metals such as arsenic. Analytical chemistry can also be involved with the development of new analytical instrumentation. It can also play a supporting role in organic and biochemistry by identifying the structure of a novel molecules. Measurement of substance in analytical and environmental chemistry. Vice Chancellor, sir. Analytical chemistry is fundamentally a science of measurement that provide the methods and principles for determining the identity, what is it, and quantity, how much of it is there of a sample of a substance in a sample. The Almighty Allah has mentioned the concept of measurement in the Holy Quran. This includes the underlisted verses and the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَأَوْفُوا الْكَيْلَ إِذَا كِلْتُمْ وَزِنُوا بِالْقِسْطَاسِ الْمُسْتَقِيمِ ذَلِكَ خَيْرٌ وَأَحْسَنُ تَأْوِيلًا. Give full measure when ye measure, and weigh with a balance that is straight. That is most fitting and the most advantageous in the final determination. Quran chapter 17, verse 35. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam also frowned at dishonesty in weighing and measuring at various places. One, there is a valley in hell which is so hot that even a mountain will melt in it, and hell itself seek refuge from it. Those who are lazy towards salat and who do not give full measure when weighing will be imprisoned in it. Secondly, on the day of judgment, the one who do not give full measure of weight, their faces will be disgraced, their tongues will stammer, and their eyes will be blue. A scale of fire will be placed on his neck, and to be said, weigh from here to there. He will be punished in this manner between two mountains for 50,000 years. Environmental chemistry. The practice of green chemistry must be based upon environmental chemistry. This branch of chemical science is defined as the study of sources, reactions, transport, effect, and fate of chemical species in water, soil, air, and living environment, and the effect of technology therein. Figure 1 illustrates this definition of environmental chemistry with an important type of environmental chemical species. Environmental pollution. Pollution caused by human activities damage the environment, ecosystem, and earth. Reducing it is possible, and this is everyone's responsibility. Environmental pollution is the introduction of foreign and potentially harmful elements into the environment. The consequences are particularly important when they damage ecosystem and human society, especially with regard to earth. Pollution is not a human prerogative. Volcanoes, for example, also emit pollutant. It is, however, certain that our species is contributing massively to environmental pollution, and this has increased over the past centuries. There are different types of pollution. The first to be studied are those in which pollutants are physical elements: air pollution, water pollution, and land pollution. Some of the major types of pollution are described. Water pollution. Water pollution now affects virtually all the world sea, oceans, lakes, and rivers. In the sea, the most egregious cases are oil spills from shipping disasters, but the problem of pollution from plastic, and particularly microplastic, is becoming increasingly urgent. Freshwater accounts for only 2.5% of all water on Earth. It is the most precious resources for human life. Over 2 billion people live in countries with high levels of water stress, meaning the amount of water available is less than the amount of water required. Around 700 million people do not have access to basic drinking water services. Water pollution is worsening at all stages of the water cycle. The following are some negative ways water pollution can directly affect human health. 1, ingesting microplastics. 2, drinking water containing chemical waste. Given the phase material chemistry, although coined only recently, has become a popular within chemical community, it is pertinent to ask how material chemistry should be defined, what is it, and perhaps more importantly, what is not. Material chemistry comprises the application of chemistry to the design, synthesis, characterization, processing, understanding, and utilization of material, particularly those with useful or potentially useful physical properties. It may be agreed that simply synthesizing a new chemical substance in nano or macroscopic form is not material chemistry, but just chemical synthesis. First, it is to be considered material chemistry. An element of application, function, or design need to be present. For example, in the case of nanomaterial, there should be some indication of special or potentially useful properties that result directly or indirectly from the small size or exceptionally high surface to volume ratio of the substance. Peter Day et al. 2009. My research focus. Vice Chancellor, sir, in the course of my career as a teacher of analytical, environmental, and material chemistry, I contributed both at home and abroad to the existing knowledge in different aspects of analytical, environmental, and material chemistry. And this includes water quality monitoring, investigation and monitoring of organic compounds and heavy metal pollutants in water, soil, sediment, and biological tissues, biomonitoring of pollutants, the development of novel analytical method for the analysis of organic and inorganic compounds, remediation of organic and heavy metal from environmental samples using different approaches, membrane nanotechnology for water filtration research, risk assessment of environmental data, environmental toxicology, with over 15 years of cognate experience. For the purpose of this inaugural lecture, I have chosen to talk about my contribution in the field of water quality monitoring, with emphasis on heavy metal, organic compounds, and biota samples analysis in different media and their associated risk assessment, biomonitoring, membrane nanotechnology for water filtration, research on the remediation of organic and heavy metal from environmental samples using different approaches. Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to give an account of several researches that we have carried out on water, both at home and abroad. What we did was to use the technology of analytical chemistry to investigate the presence of toxic organic and inorganic contaminants in different matrices, assess their possible risk, and use synthesized material to remove this contaminant from the environment. And this translates to leveraging the expertise of analytical environmental and material chemists in environmental management. In developing nations like Nigeria, the consequences of not having access to safe drinking water far more severe for human health. Adeni et al. 2022, Okoro et al. 2024, are be able to establish pollution status and was able to generate bankable data on the following rivers: Asa, Oyun, Okun River in Kwara State, Olokoro River in Oyo State. During my research sojourn in Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Cape Town, South Africa, I've carried out research on environmental assessment of endocrine disruptive chemicals such as organotin compounds and heavy metals in the Cape Town Harbour, vis-a-vis the development of analytical method for organotin analysis in water and sediment in Cape Town Harbour, and then investigate the use of biomarker to test for the toxicity of this compound using mussels. Okoro et al. 2011, Okoro et al. 2012, and A and B. Vice Chancellor, sir, I wish to let you know that this study was the first to be conducted in the whole of South Africa according to available literature. The research showed that organotin have high toxicity towards aquatic organisms. Okoro et al. 2011, Okoro et al. 2012, Okoro et al. 2015, Okoro et al. 2016. We use biomarker to assess the toxicity of this compound. The result revealed that those organotic compounds are toxic. Okoro et al. 2015. Figure 3 show pictorial view during sampling from Cape Town Harbour with CSR sampling crew. As a result of data on the level of organotin compounds on the West African coast, including Lagos Harbour, a study was undertaken by Adekola Abdisalam, Kazim Bashir, and Okoro to profile organotin compounds at Lagos Dockyard Harbour, Nigeria. The sediment and water samples were collected for 2 years, covering both dry and wet season. Higher values of OTC were recorded during the wet season than the dry season, and this was attributed to the dredging of the harbour and remobilization of organotin compounds from sediment into the water compartment. More so, the study showed that the degradation of these organotic compounds into their metabolite was governed by the influence of specific microorganisms. Therefore, regular monitoring of harbour was recommended for public safety. Bashir and Okoro, 2020. Characterization of potentially toxic elements in the environment. Vice Chancellor, sir, among different contaminants, potential toxic elements are pose major concern for environmental and human health. Potential toxic elements, otherwise known as heavy metal, have been characterized as potential toxic elements in the Cape Town Harbour in different matrices: water, sediment, and biota samples. The mobility pattern, fractionation, risk assessment of PT on Cape Town Harbour and Lagos Harbour was carried out. Fatokin and Okoro, 2012, Okoro et al. 2013A and B, Okoro et al. 2014B. In 2019, El Imam, the current commissioner for Health, Kwara State, and Okoro moved research to Igbeti, Oyo State, where a study was conducted in order to investigate heavy metals concentration of the abandoned Mabu Quarry pond, surface water, and sediment in Igbeti, Oyo State. The study centered on the physicochemical properties, heavy metal composition, and metal-resistant microorganisms associated with gold mine tailings in Jeba, Nigeria. The heavy metal detected include arsenic, mercury, cadmium, and lead. 21 hormone-mediated resistance to biotrophic pathogen were isolated with the presence of and levels of heavy metal, elucidating the high risk of cancerous and non-cancerous effects borne by artisan gold miners. Eliman and Okoro, 2023. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I'm delighted to inform you that I belong to many research groups, and we have carried out many remediation studies on organic and heavy metal pollutant removal from the environment. Okoro, Tela, Ajika, and Ajibola from the University of Ilorin, Ingela Khalif from Johannesburg, South Africa, used metal organic framework in order to carry out absorption study in order to remove both organic and heavy metal pollutants from the environment. Availability of hazardous contaminants such as heavy metal in both terrestrial and aquatic environment, especially in certain solid, particularly like soil and sediment, has come to the light owing to the sundry pollution and contamination challenges, principally in terms of their ability to make it one way or the other into the human body system. Okoro et al. 2017B, Okoro et al. 2018, Tela, and Okoro 2017A. During the course of this study, we were able to synthesize the zinc-2 and copper-2 metal organic framework and apply them in order to remove some 3D metals from aqueous solution and the absorption of PAH from wastewater. The results of the usability test of the MOL suggest that MOV have excellent recovery and reusability capacity. Okoro et al. 2017B, Okoro et al. 2018, Okoro et al. 2019A, Okoro et al. 2019B, Okoro et al. 2020, Okoro et al. 2021A, Tela, and Okoro 2022. Application of metal organic framework of zinc and copper-based material in the removal of naphthalene and atrazine were employed. 97% and 50% removal were recorded for naphthalene and atrazine respectively. Disruption and usability results show that both materials demonstrate high regeneration capacity, and the reuse of material proved effective for 3-batch absorption processes. Figure 4, 5, and 6 show the SRD, SEM, and 10 microgram of the synthesized material. Remediation of water contaminant using biomass. In 2023, Okoro and Adeniyi work on the use of different biomass such as cassava peels, lime peels, sugarcane bagasse, plantain peels, teak leaves, malenia leaves, bamboo leaves, and so on, to produce a biochar and clay impregnated biochar, and the application in wastewater treatment, aquaculture, and pharmaceutical effluent. Application of biomass material as natural absorbents for water contaminants were explored. The study found that modifying the absorbent enhances their capacity with potassium chromate activated bean pods. Challenges and opportunities in using bean pods, husk, and other biomass material for water purification were carried out. Emenike and Okoro 2023, Emenike and Okoro 2024, Emenike and Okoro 2025, Iwuzo and Okoro 2024, A and B, Okoro et al. 2024, Okoro et al. 2025. My research group also explored the efficacy of sugarcane bagasse derived materials in a pack-based system for remediating aquaculture wastewater with the goal of ensuring environmental safe discharge. This study examined the effectiveness of sugarcane bagasse-based material as a cost-effective and green alternative for industrial wastewater treatment. Okoro et al. 2025. Membrane nanotechnology research for water filtration. Before I started working on membrane nanotechnology research, I received training from Professor J.C. Ngila during my postdoctoral fellowship under our supervision at the Department of Applied Chemistry, Faculty of Science, University of Johannesburg, South Africa. My first research on this area focused on using membrane for water filtration. Okoro et al. 2017. Various technologies have been employed for wastewater treatment. The introduction of polymeric membrane technology has been useful in solving problems related to wastewater treatment. The advantages of membrane nanotechnology include low cost, less chemical consumption, and small footprint, among others. The result of the BSA rejection of the synthesized HPPS membrane were a maximum of 98%, while those that will functionalize with silver range between 30 to 87%. The membrane possesses high flux recoveries, indicating great potential for the membrane for antifouling application in water treatment. Extensive antibacterial studies were carried out on the membrane in order to probe bioactivity. Enhanced activity was recorded with zone inhibition of up to 7 mm against 5 bacterial strains, including E. coli and pneumonia, as found in several wastewater treatment. The antibacterial properties of this membrane mean they can prolong membrane optional lifetime by mitigating biofilm during water treatment. Okoro et al. 2017, Okoro et al. 2021b. Vice Chancellor, sir. Heavy metal analysis of groundwater samples collected from Central Industrial District of Ilorin, Kwara State, was carried out in order to assess the suitability of water for human consumption and domestic purposes. The results reflect probable pollution from the industrial effluent, which are often released into some water channel without thorough treatment. Okoro et al. 2012. Orosun and Okoro evaluated the sources and potential health hazard of heavy metal in groundwater samples from Ilorin, Nigeria. In the children population, the highest cancer risk was 5.83 for cadmium in location 1, Okeose. The cancer risk of cadmium and chromium for both children and adults were found to be higher than the permissible limit, potentially leading to a rise in number of incidences of carcinogenic health consequences among the local population. This study was undertaken in order to emphasize on the mutuality between water pollution and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goal, SDGs, Okoro et al. 2024b. Evaluation of the level of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon in water samples collected from Asa and Oyun River within Ilorin, Kwara State. A total of 52 hydrocarbons were identified to be present in the water samples. These two rivers can be said to be contaminated with PAH. The pollution can be attributed to both anthropogenic and natural sources. The water needs to be adequately treated and regularly monitored. Future evaluation of human health risk assessment, seasonal monitoring of pH in the river, and possible remediation studies are recommended. Adekola and Okoro, 2015. In a similar dimension, assessment and distribution of 4 phenolic compounds in Asa River was investigated. Okoro et al. 2024. The study provided information about the quality of water and sediment collected from the river. The major findings of this research show that the presence of 2 phenol and 2 chlorophenol in water and sediment for some locations, the discharge of the industrial and domestic wastewater, in addition, in relation to the unprecedented level of inflow to the historical inputs, runoff of pesticide residue into the river has contributed greatly to the high concentration of phenol and its derivatives in some locations. With the aim of working on the aspects in the environment, on the bad aspects in the environment, as one of the role of analytical and environmental chemists, my research group also carried out comprehensive study on the endocrine disruptive chemicals owing to their toxicity and harmful effects in the environment. Endocrine disruptions refers to the ability of chemical or substances at certain dose to interfere with hormonal system in the body. Okoro et al. 2017. The contamination of the environment by organic pollutant is a major risk factor, particularly for developing countries. In 2022, my research group wrote a comprehensive review article published in Emerging Contaminants, SCV Science Direct Journal, on the selected organic pollutant, SOP, like phenolic compounds, polyaromatic hydrocarbon, pesticide, and herbicide, Okoro et al. 2022a. Based on the above observation on the EDC and emerging contaminants, we decided to check the following EDC in our environment. They are namely phthalate, phenol, PAH, organotic compound, and pesticide. A Yoruba adage says, "Ile Latin question already. Many charity begin at home, but don't end it there." Okoro, Orosun, Mualiyu, from University of Ilorin, Abganiyu from King Fahd University of Petroleum, Saudi Arabia, and Popola from University of Medina, Saudi Arabia, investigated ecological risk assessment and phthalate ester concentration in sediment sample from Ilorin metropolis. Ecological risk assessment revealed that only DEP likely pose a minimal risk, while the finding indicated that phthalate pose minimal or no risk. While the finding indicated that phthalate pose minimal or no risk, there is a need for comprehensive phthalate monitoring in this location in order to reduce the inflows of these substances. This proactive measure is essential to prevent potential disruption to the delicate equilibrium of the ecosystem, which could result in a catastrophic loss of biodiversity. Okoro et al. 2017, Okoro et al. 2022a, Okoro et al. 2024c. This analysis was carried out in Saudi Arabia in conjunction with my research collaborator over there. In the spirit of research collaboration, Okoro analytic to investigate the level of pH and capacity of microbes isolated from soil contaminated with diesel utilizing SIDK. Bacteria and fungi were isolated and identified using standard microbiological methods. Identification and quantification of pH was accomplished using standard method. A total of 15 fungi species were isolated and identified. The research showed that 6 of the usurper target pH assay were detected. Okoro et al. 2019. In both the Cape Town Harbour and Lagos Harbour, as reported in our previous studies, Okoro et al. 2012, Okoro et al. 2015, Okoro et al. 2016, Bashir and Okoro 2020. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I must let you know that the paper we published on Lagos Harbour research was achieved during the lockdown period in 2020 in one of the high impact factor journal, International Journal of Environmental Analytical Chemistry, published by Taylor and Francis. I'm glad to let you know that apart from research articles, we have written review articles and book chapters and many international conferences presentation from our findings about these endocrine disruptive chemicals called organotin compounds. Mr. Vice Chancellor, I'm glad to inform you that my research groups were able to contribute significantly in this regard because in the area of method development, because many researchers have been adopting the method we developed on organotin and phenolic compound analysis in different sample media using gas chromatography, flame photometry detector, and high performance liquid chromatography HPLC technique respectively. This first method development we did was on the use of gas chromatography GCFPD, Okoro et al. 2012, analytical chemistry methods for speciation of targeted organotic compounds with emphasis on TBT and TPT in water samples using SPE cartridge and liquid extraction. Also, sediment sample analysis using methanol acid digestion and acid sodication extraction method were also developed. Different parameters affecting extraction and peak resolution were optimized. Also, 3 divertation procedure were optimized. The accuracy of the extraction procedure was also verified on reference material. Good recoveries were obtained with methanol acid digestion. The results were validated by analyzing the rainwater and sediment sample collected from the Cape Town Harbour, and these compounds were detected in both water and sediment sample as substantial concentration respectively. Okoro et al. 2012, Okoro et al. 2016. Research on phenolic compounds is of current interest since they have important biological and pharmacological properties. HPLC is one of the advanced techniques for routine analysis of phenolic compounds. In our method development on HPLC, experimental results demonstrated that HPLC method offers excellent recoveries and can be employed for environmental sample analysis. In view of its rapidity, simplicity, environmental friendly nature, the optimized method was an excellent alternative detection technology for phenol analysis and can be widely employed in environmental and other related fields. Okoro et al., 2019. Contribution to manpower development in Nigeria and globally. I supervised more than 90 undergraduate research projects at the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, and have equally supervised 5 undergraduate research projects at Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Cape Town, South Africa. I've successfully supervised 15 MSc students for their master's degree dissertation in industrial chemistry. In addition, I'm currently supervising 3 master's students. I'm currently supervising 7 PhD students in industrial chemistry with a focus on the area of analytical, environmental, and material chemistry. Vice Chancellor, sir, it is my pleasure to mention some of my mentees. Associate Professor Said Abghani from Chemistry Department, King Fahd, University of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Saudi Arabia. Dr. Wasiu Afolabi, Technology Portfolio Manager, King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, Saudi Arabia. Dr. Mujiba is working as a forensic drugs analyst in a forensic company in the United States of America. Mr. Julius Ige, Principal Scientific Officer with Raw Material Research and Development Council, Abuja. Mr. Sheyi Ayika, Assistant Lecturer, Kogi State University, Kaba, among others. Community service. Vice Chancellor, sir. Some of my major community service include at the University of Ilorin, Acting Head of Department of Industrial Chemistry, 2021 to 2023, Deputy Director of Training, Credit, 2020 to 2023, Deputy Editor-in-Chief, Ilorin Journal of Science, 2019 to 2021, Faculty of Physical Science Representative at Junior Staff Appointment and Promotion Committee, 2021 to 2025. At the national level, I've served as external assessor, promotion of academic staff member to professor in some university within and outside the country. Some of them are Federal University of Oyo Ekiti-Foye, King Abdulaziz University, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. The regional and international assignment, pioneer editor-in-chief for the U6 Plus Multidisciplinary Journal for African Development, international external examiner for master dissertation and PhD research thesis at the University of Pretoria, South Africa, University of Penda, South Africa. At the national level, external examiner for the examination of PhD thesis at Federal University of Technology, Mina. Chairman, Technical Subcommittee for the 2024 Africanist Conference held at the University of Ilorin. Editor-in-Chief for the editorial board of 2024 U6 Consortium of African University International Conference held in Cape Town last year. Revealed to many international journals of high impact journal. Amir, Cape Town Dual Forum, Cape Town, South Africa, between 2010 to 2013. Other community services include Secretary General, Chemical Society of Nigeria, Kwara State Chapter, 2020 to 2023, Assistant Secretary and Secretary General of the Companion, Kwara District, 2013 to 2021, Ushra Coordinator of the Companion, Kwara District, 2021 to 2024. Conclusion. Vice Chancellor, sir. Environmental pollution is a major global issue for both developed and developing economies, and it is increasing gradually, causing a serious impact on living organisms, including human. The condition has worsened in recent time. Various authorities have postulated several control measures to combat water pollution. It is therefore very pertinent we prevent pollution rather than treating symptoms of pollution. Past experience has shown that remedial action to clip on polluted sites and water bodies are generally much more expensive than apply measures to prevent pollution from occurring. From this lecture, it has been established that the sources of bad substances in the environment are not limited to industrialization, urbanization, agriculture, oil, air, and soil pollution. Waste from commercial and house garbage. It is therefore necessary to let us know that several creatures survive underground, disrupting the harmony of the environment by improper waste disposal is disrupting their habitat. This has led to several creatures reaching the endangered status. We work and survive on land. It is literally the base of our ecosystem. It is in our good interest to manage our environment and nurture it. It is also necessary we identify the presence of pollutants and good substances that we can use as a control measure, as is reflected in this lecture, leveraging the expertise of chemists in environmental management, a focus on analytical, environmental, and material fits. Recommendations. Vice Chancellor, sir, it is pertinent to make the following recommendations to checkmate, reduce, and prevent the vast increase in environmental pollution. The ban on the use of antifouling agents has been enforced in European and other developed countries But this is not the case in Africa. First, the federal government should put in place legislation banning the importation and use of chip coated with alkali agents in our marine ecosystem. If this law is put in place, the level of organotin pollution will be minimized. Secondly, the federal government agencies such as National Environmental Standard and Regulation Enforcement Agency, NESRA, National Water Research Institute, Federal Ministry of Environment, to set up the regular monitoring of these endocrine disrupting chemicals and other potential toxic chemicals present within our surface, marine, and groundwater bodies of our dear nation. The federal government and state government, through the Ministry of Environment, need to put in place adequate control measures in order to ensure compliance with national and international regulations on the protection of our water system. There's also a need for adequate surface, groundwater, and marine water and sediment quality guidelines for Nigeria as a nation. Nigeria government should provide state-of-the-art facility in our universities to avoid eradication of this type of subject in our tertiary institutions owing to lack of facilities. Number 5, the university management should also support the graduate and undergraduate students through the provision of university research fund as it's applied in other climes such as South Africa, India, and European countries. The federal government should make the law flexible to allow researchers to place orders for their chemical when they need for research and charge relevant organizations such as the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, Institute of Chartered Chemists of Nigeria, to champion this cause. Acknowledgement. Vice Chancellor, sir. First and foremost, I would like to acknowledge the Almighty Allah, the Lord of the universe, and all-knowing for seeing me through to this enviable position and the zenith of my academic career. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the world. Mr. Vice Chancellor, appreciation goes to the following: the management of the University of Ilorin under the able leadership of our amiable, indefatigable, innovative, and ebullient Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab Olachupo Egbewole, SAM, whose tenure I was promoted to rank of professor in 2023, and for his uncommon leadership quality, steadfastness, dedication, and for ensuring we live in a clean and safe environment. Thank you, sir, for the opportunity to complete my tenure as Deputy Director at Credit, and also for approving my second tenure as the head of the Department of Industrial Chemistry for the two positions I held simultaneously. I equally acknowledge the past Vice Chancellors and Deputy Vice Chancellors for the role they play in my career path. My immense appreciation similarly goes to the Chairman of Library and Publicity Committee and his team for the final editing, typesetting of this inaugural lecture and for their contribution to the successful presentation of my inaugural lecture. I wish to thank the management of Cape Peninsula University of Technology, Cape Town, South Africa, under the current and able leadership of Professor Chris Inklapo. To my family, I want to especially appreciate my parents, my father, late Alhaj Imam Zakaria Adeola Okoro, the former Imam Igborukunlawo Mosque, and my loving and caring mother, Alhaja Oladutem Adeola Okoro, for their love, care, and unflinching support that brought me this far. Thank you for being wonderful parents. The death of my dad came as a rude shock to me on the 3rd November 2017. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enlarge your grave and grant you the best place in Al-Jannah Firdaus. Amen. To my kind, caring, loving, and considerate mother, I thank you for nursing me and for being my pillar, prayer warrior when in need. To my stepmothers, Alhaja Modina Okoro, Ajia Amuda Adeola Okoro, thank you so much for being supportive. I say a big thank you to my siblings and their children. I acknowledge my late sister, who was like a mother to me, Mrs. Fadila Olayinka Olufowoye, whose sudden death I received as a rude shock while I was in South Africa during my doctoral study. May your soul continue to rest in peace. Amen. Mr. Kamar Adeola Okoro, Muniruddin Adeola Okoro, thank you for your love, care, support, and mutual understanding. Thank you for being a great brother. You are the brother anyone can ask for. A big thank you to Mr. Eso Olufowoye for your moral support, sir. Mr. Rashid Adeola Okoro, Mr. Tajuddin Adeola Okoro, Honorable Muslimant Okoro, Mrs. Sherifat Akinyemi, Mrs. Rashida Okoro, and others. Thank you all for your support and prayers. To my uncles and aunties, Mr. Yaya Abdu Okoro, Mr. Adeyemi Adekombi, Mr. and Mrs. Ige Adekombi, Alhaja Khadija Onikunkew, I must acknowledge the late uncle, Dr. Olufolani Okoro, whose guidance and support made my university dream a reality. May his legacy live on through my achievement. To my Egbon and their spouses, Alhaji Nafi Okoro, Alhaji Muniruddin Okoro, Brother Salahuddin Okoro, Mr. Najib Abdul Salam, Brother Tajuddin Olanitori, Dr. Mustafa Arun, late Idowa Adekombi, Brother Alaba Adekombi, Brother Monde Okoro, Alhaja Mariam Abdul Salam, Pastor Abdul Rashid Ekungba, Engineer Kasim Aderibigbe, late Mr. Ademola Afolayan, Alhaja Aulat Absalam. I sincerely appreciate Brother Kamil Ekungba for your special love towards my family. To my in-law, the Dairo, the Ali Obalokun, the Abakun family, I thank you for entrusting your daughter to me as my life partner. I'm forever grateful to you for giving me such a wonderful and resourceful wife. Modupe Pupo. To my academic mentors, first and foremost, my appreciation goes to my supervisors at the BSc level and MSc level. I'm grateful for the tutelage and work ethics that I received from my PhD supervisor and co-supervisor, Professor O.S. Fatoki, late Professor B.J. Kimba, Professor R.G. Sliman, and my external co-supervisor, Professor F.A. Adekola. Please, I want them to stand up for recognition. Professor O.S. Fatoki and Professor F.A. Adekola, SAS. Please, I want you to stand up for recognition. Thank you, sir. Then Professor Jane Getrin Igila, University of Johannesburg, South Africa, who was my host during my postdoctoral fellowship between 2016 and 2017. Then to Aishif Jamiu Ekungba and wives, our Baba Adini of our Muslim community. As I stand on the threshold of my academic journey, I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude to you. You have been instrumental in my undergraduate and postgraduate experience and my appointment as a lecturer at the University of Ilorin. I'm grateful for your presence in my life. Your selflessness and care have been a blessing to me. Thank you for your unwavering support, hospitality, and care. Please stand up for recognition, sir. Jazakumullahu khairan. Special thanks to Emeritus Professor Ishaq Olariwaju Oloyede and wife, Dr. Rahima Oloyede. Thank you, sir and ma, for your encouragement and mentorship. Special thanks to our immediate past Vice Chancellor and my academic mentor, Professor Suleiman Agenjolola Abdul Karim. I thank you for your tutelage right from my BSc and MSc days. Thank you for the confidence you repose on me by appointing me as the Deputy Director Credit and HOD of Industrial Chemistry in 2021. Special thanks to all my teachers right from primary school to the university level. I appreciate the mentorship of my Professor Mrs. Eleta, who served as my academic level advisor. As the moment is still serving as my academic level advisor. God bless you, man. If you ask her now my matric number, she will tell you right away. To my elders, I say a big thank you to Professor Y.A. Kodri, Professor Emi Akonji, Professor Obi Oloyede, Professor Olaolu Ali, Professor Elef Oladimeji, Professor Abdulrashid Nala, former VC Abuja. I really appreciate your mentorship and encouragement. Each time Professor Akonji and Professor Oloyede come for inaugural lecture at the University of Ilorin, they will ask me, how far have you gone with the planning of your inaugural lecture? Thank you for being part of today's success. Special thanks to Justice Idris Abdullahi Abrun, Alhaji Alima Harun, Alhaji Harun Abdullahi, Dr. Hussein Olariwaju, my family physician. Thank you, sir. To Kabiesi, the Olowo of our Obagbade Geshin Ogoye the third, I appreciate your love, prayers, and best wishes always. Kabiesi, Wabu, Wato, Wadejubai, Ami Ashe Idumari. I thank all my friends and especially members of Aliami Society Owo for creating peaceful environment to grow spiritually together. Your physical presence and moral support means a lot to me. Special thanks to University of Ilorin Muslim Community, Cape Town Dual Forum, Kobe Owu Central Mosque, Abubakar Siddiq Central Mosque, our Muslim community, the companions, and the Criterion family. I say a big thank you for creating a good atmosphere to grow spiritually. I sincerely express my appreciation to my senior and other colleagues from the Department of Industrial Chemistry and Chemistry. I also wish to appreciate the Dean, the Sub-Dean, and all staff of Faculty of Physical Sciences, to my senior and colleagues in the Faculty of Physical Sciences and other faculties in the University of Ilorin community. I say a big thank you. To the staff of Pure Chemistry and Industrial Chemistry Department, Kwara State University, Malete, under the headship of Professor A.O. Mustafa, I say a very big thank you for the warm reception you accorded me during my 1 year sabbatical leave with you. To my family at the Pure Chemistry and Industrial Chemistry Department, Lautech, Chemical Science Department, Ali Hikman University, Langbank University, Chemical Society of Nigeria, ISH alumni family, we are one big family. I say a very big thank you. To my credit family, under the leadership of Professor K.W. Wahab, who has served as director at the center, Professor Y.O. Imam, Professor Christiana Abikoye, our administrative staff, thank you all for creating an enabling environment and the peaceful moment we have spent together at Credit. That made our tenure a huge success. To our wonderful neighbors at Gahakombi Aleniboro community, under our able Magaji, Alehaji Jamiu Anuolua, my neighbors, I thank you all for your cooperation, peaceful coexistence, and your presence here is most appreciated. To the roundtable of academic mentors here present, as well as those that are online, thank you for believing in me and creating the enabling environment for our career development. To my abulos and colleagues, Dr. Taufika Amoloye Abu, Dr. Titi Musa Oyewumi, Professor A.A. Oloyede Jr., Dr. Ali Abdulsawe Oluwafuyi, Dr. Fam Abdulgafar, Dr. Balikis Lawa, Dr. Mrs. Oladele, Dr. Aminat Muhammad, Dr. Ike Anyila, Mr. Toyib Absalam, Mrs. Tawakat Absalam, Associate Professor Said Adewale, Kimpad, University of Petroleum, Saudi Arabia, Dr. Suleiman Okoro. I thank you to the member. I say a big thank you to the member of my family in South Africa. Special thanks go to Dr. Tony Abraham, Alhaja Aisha Arun, Dr. and Dr. Mrs. Ikili, Dr. and Mrs. Raji for your hospitality and for making my stay in Cape Town and Johannesburg a memorable one. To our friends and their families, Engineer Mikhail Raji Adekoke, Professor Alima Adekoke, Professor Sidikat Aderoyi Abdulwahab, Colonel Abdulwahab, Dr. Kazim Bashir and family, Alhaji Mubarak Olupona, Professor Oluyinka Iyola, Dr. M.K. Agaruba, Dr. George Adeniyi, Mr. Yinka Obimbe, Mr. Adewale, Mr. Arun Abraman, Mr. Taufik Ibrahim, Dr. Mudasir Abdisalam, Professor Olushola Oladipo, Dr. Mrs. Omotora Oladipo, Dr. Adisa Jamiu, Professor Shola James and family, Professor Wasiu Raja and family, Dr. Olaremu Abimbola, Mr. KK Babamole and family, Professor Mrs. Kola Mustafa and family, Professor Amsa Tajuddin and family, Mrs. Sidiko Utman and family. To my research collaborator, I say a big thank you to Professor J.C. Ngila, Professor Khalif of University of Johannesburg, Professor Iwarede, University of Pretoria, Professor S. Pandi, India, Dr. Adewale George, M.M. Urusu, Professor Yola, Dr. Elimam, Dr. Clement Ogunkule, Professor Alimo Adegoke, Professor A.C. Teller, University of Ilorin, Associate Professor Wale Abgani, Kinfad, University of Petroleum, and Associate Professor Said Abiodun Pupola, University of Medina, Saudi Arabia. I thank you all for the collaboration we have shared together. Thanks to my mentor and my current PhD student, Mr. Shijayika, Mr. Ajibola Sheung, Mr. Usman, Mr. Idris, Mrs. Umulahel Aliagan, Mr. Kesley Wawa, Mr. Ismail Akonde, Mr. Stephen Utum. All staff and students of the University of Ilorin present here, physically or online, may God bless you all. I'm indeed grateful. Special thank you to the LOC member of this inaugural lecture, under the able chairman and co-chair of Dr. Gio Adeni and Dr. M.K. Garuba. Thank you so much for proper planning of this lecture. I cannot appreciate my children enough for their cooperation, understanding, and total support in the course of my career advancement. You are blessed, and your successes, accomplishments, and achievements shall have no bound. They shall be greater than me. Latifa Ayodeji Okoro, our barrister lawyer in the making, Abdetif Abidemi Okoro, who was born in my absence during the course of my research work in South Africa. Upon my return during the holiday, after 8 months he was born, he called me uncle. He recognized those, my junior brother that are staying with his mother as the father. So when I came, he said, uncle. Admuhis Olaleko Okoro, Muhammad Olariwaju Okoro, thank you for your patience, tolerance, and total support. Daddy loves you all. Lastly, but not the least, the Angular Tika Imbale. I kindly request the permission of the Vice Chancellor for us to join me to give a standing ovation to my darling wife. Who started this journey with me by following me the penultimate Monday after our wedding to pick up my appointment. Oni, I thank you specially and especially for your understanding and full support toward the success of my academic journey. I could not have done all this without you. You give the best of advice. Indeed, I'm forever thank you. I'm very thankful that I've met you. You are my breath and my light. Thank you for being an amazing, beautiful, strong, intelligent, kind, supportive, caring, thoughtful, and loving wife. My director, Home Affairs. I love you very much and will continue to do so. I thank you all for your patience and your kind attention. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly. Amen. I appreciate everyone who is here to attend this great occasion of my inaugural lecture. My appreciation also goes to all those who cannot make it physically, owing to one reason or another, but who are online listening to my inaugural lecture. Owing to space limitation, I may not be able to mention all your names, but I sincerely appreciate you all immensely. Your great support and innovation made this occasion possible for me. I say Jazakumullahu Khaira, and I wish everyone safe journey to your various destinations. Vice Chancellor, sir, kindly permit me to end this lecture by reading this verse of the Holy Quran. Dawahum fiya subhanaka Allahumma wa tayyatun fiya salamu wa aridawahun alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
Please sit down. Thank you. Please be seated. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Wahab Olasupo Egbewole, SAN, I thank everyone for your support, time, and attention. However, I have to mention some names. We thank Professor Emeritus Isaac Olarewaju Oloyede, the Joint Registrar and the former Vice Chancellor of this great university. Thank you for always being there for us, for your support at all times. Also, Professor Emeritus Musbah Adewumi Akanji, FAS. Thank you. And former Vice Chancellor Fruitmina. Thank you very much, sir, for being around. Professor Hussein Oloyede, FAS, former Vice Chancellor, Fountain University, pioneer Vice Chancellor, both Fountain University and Summit University. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Also, Professor Lateef Folorunsho Oladimeji, Vice Chancellor Al-Hikmah University. Thank you, sir, for being here. Professor Mukayo Ayande Aremu, Provost, College of Education, Oyo. Thank you, sir. Oro, thank you, thank you, thank you. The wife of our Vice Chancellor, Ajia Muibat Adiola Egbewole, wife of the Vice Chancellor. Thank you, ma, for your time and support. Then, the wife of our father, Dr. Rahiman Oloyede. Thank you, ma, people's mother. Thank you, ma, for being with us. I also want to thank Professor S.F. Ambali, former Deputy Vice Chancellor, Management and Services. Thank you. Also, Professor Olarewaju Isa, former university librarian. Thank you for being with us. Dr. S.A. Aremu, former MD, Lower Niger River Basin, Ilorin. Thank you. Kábíyèsí Ọba Gbádégẹ̀sìn Ògún Oyè Ọlọ́wọ́ ọ̀fọ̀wọ̀, kábíyèsí o, kádé ó pẹ́ lórí kí bàtà ó pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Ẹ ṣeun. Thank you, sir. Professor Nasir Abdul Salam, Chief Imam, University of Ilorin. Salamu alaikum. Sheikh Yunus Anola, Imam of Muslim community. Thank you for being with us. Imam Kobiowu Central Mosque. Thank you, sir. Dr. Abdugani Owoyale, we thank you. Then our professional associations, Chemical Society of Nigeria, Kwara Chapter, we thank you. Association of Muslim Elites of Nigeria, Lamin, thank you. The Companion Kwara District, thank you. The Round Table of Academic Mentors, we thank you. Cape Town Dua Forum, thank you. ICH Alumni, thank you. OHSO 93 set, thank you. And then I thank Professor Joshua Obaleye, And I use that to thank all the professors around. Thank you all for your time and for the support. Hi, Chief Jamiu Ekunba Baba Adini, Ekunba Baba Adini of our Muslim community. Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Adeyemi Adekambi, thank you. Our uncle, Mr. Ige Adekambi, thank you. Honorable Muslimat Okoro, we thank you. Our sister, Professor Yusuf Olaoluwale, SAM. Thank you very much. The Uliyangeri of Ilorin Emirates. Barrister Oba Adelodun, SAM. Thank you. Dr. Idowu Olanrewaju, MD Olanrewaju Hospital. Thank you very much, sir. Justice Idris Abdullah Harun, former Grand Cadi of Ilorin, we thank you, sir. Dr. Adeniyi Sahid Aremu, former MD, mentioned already, thank you again. Professor O.S. Fatoki, PhD, supervisor of the inaugural lecturer. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Eso Olu Fawoye, in-law, thank you. Professor J.C. Ngila, former Executive Director, Africa Academy of Science, we thank you. Professor Califs, University of Johannesburg, South Africa, thank you greatly. Professor F. Adekola, thank you. Co-supervisor, Mr. Rashid Adiola Okoro, South Africa, thank you. Alhaji Nafi Okoro, thank you. Engineer Kamilu Olalekan, former National Amir of the Companion, thank you. Mr. Olatunji Ilyas, thank you very much. Now the father, late Imam Zakaria Adiola Okoro, may his soul rest in peace. Then our mother, we thank you for nursing us, Elijah Galiyat Oladutemu Okoro. Thank you very much, Mama. We have 79 participants online, and the Vice Chancellor of University of Ilorin, better by far, is online live. Thank you very much, sir. The children of inaugural lecturer, Latifa Ayodeji, Abdulatif Abidemi Okoro, Abdul Muiz Olalekan Okoro, Muhammad Olanrewaju Okoro. We thank you all for being there when Daddy was busy on his research. Now, our spouse, our darling, in person of Mrs. Tawakal Aderunke Okoro, thank you very much. Oh, I left out the scholars. Scholars, stand up for recognition. Thank you very much. These are the scholars of the university. Thank you very much. Be seated. And the great Unilorites. I thank you all for the support. Thank you.
Shall we arise for the university anthem, ladies and gentlemen? So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for being a part of this, the 292nd in the series of inaugural lectures of our university. Please kindly remain where you are as we have the procession in reverse order. We thank members of the press. Thank you very much for always. Thank you. We appreciate you for coming. So all our guests from our wall, thank you. Those who joined us from South Africa, thank you very much. To all the participants online, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. Let's have the university scholars. And the university scholars are to be followed by the immediate family, the wife, the children, our KBAC. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Next time we are converging like this. We shall be moving to the